Welcome back to the Rock Talk, and today's subject is the Repo Man soundtrack. Repo Man, of course, being a movie that came out in 1984, directed by Alex Cox. This is
by Michael Nesmith of the Monkees.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Producer.
I think that was a surprise to a lot of people at the time, actually.
Probably.
Yeah. This is an original record from back in 1984.
Oh, yeah.
Still in nice shape. It's got a cool label there.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I don't remember that label. But
yeah. Sounds pretty cool.
Probably just forgot about it.
So this is a various artists album, and some of the artists actually don't exist. They were created just for the movie. As far as the movie goes, Adrian, do you want to talk about the movie at all up front, or you want to just kind of hit on it as we go?
Well, it's kind of like there are two main plots to it. I think there's this. Of course, there's the part with Otto and what he goes through and everything. He kind of involuntarily becomes a Repo Man and all that.
That's right.
And also central to the story is a particular car that apparently has some
It's radioactive.
Apparently it had 4 dead alien bodies or something like that, and like E.T.
That's right.
And I think that's
you're correct.
Yeah. And people always wanted to pop the trunk for some reason. First it was a cop, and then there were some punks who wanted to rob the car or something like that. Every time they lift the hood and bam,
they vaporize into nothing, and there's just a smoking pair of boots where they used to stand. It's really quite imaginative and pretty cool. So we highly recommend
good special effects.
Yeah. The movie was it's a cult classic, but I don't know, maybe it's falling out of favor. But I know that it still has a very avid fan base. So, and maybe we're one of them. I don't know. Yeah. It could be. So this album actually starts off with Iggy Pop, and he actually, I think, specially recorded this.
Oh, there we go. I thought this was a pretty cool song. I still kind of do, actually.
What did you say?
I thought this was a pretty cool song when I first heard it.
It is.
Actually, but it's
I think it's a great track.
Yeah, definitely.
As a matter of fact, in general, I'm not huge on Iggy Pop's solo material, but this probably qualifies as my favorite thing that he did in the solo realm, outside of the Stooges. So let me see, and it says who played on that. Let me see here. Oh, by the way, his real name is James Osterberg.
Oh, I think I heard that once.
Yeah, James Osterberg. So he's on vocals. Steve Jones is on guitar, and that sounds familiar. That maybe that's a guy from Sex Pistols. Is that possible?
I thought that was Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious was the bass player.
Was a bass player. Oh.
Yeah, Sid played, or he pretended to play the bass. But I'm trying to remember who the guitar player was. I think it might have been Steve Jones. Let me just double check that here. Yeah. Real time. There we go. Real time research happening just for you folks. Steve Jones, Sex Pistols.
There we go.
So he's the guitar on the Repo Man, the title track for the movie. So that's good to know. Yeah, I don't recognize the other guys. Clem Burke on drums, Nigel Harrison on bass. But nonetheless, this was a big track for Iggy, and it was a great way to kind of set the tone for the movie. So the next track on here is actually kind of a famous track. It's Black Flag's TV Party. And it's not the one that's on Damage, their first album.
It's not the one that's on the Black Flag album. I was going to make a note of that.
Yeah. That's correct.
I don't know if I'll piss anybody off by saying this, but I have a suspicion that for the Repo Man version of that song, there was a producer in the studio telling them what to do.
Well, it says produced by Spot and Black Flag. So Apparently not.
Maybe
Let me
not.
stay right here. For
Okay, I stand corrected.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here to do, is to correct the record and make sure we've got everything right.
Oh yeah.
So here we are. We've got Damaged, and here we've actually got Des Cadena in the band, and Des Cadena is still in the band at this point. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is the exact same. It is the exact same lineup of Black Flag that did it here in 1981. But it is a different version.
Because I heard the Black Flag version of it, and the one that's on the record there. I was like, this was after hearing the Repo Man version, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the real thing.
So you prefer that one over the one on?
I prefer that one over the one on Repo Man. The one on Repo Man is good. It's just that after hearing the original, it's like somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's more, the Repo Man version is more polished.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit more ready for prime time.
Yeah.
So I like it.
That's why I suspected the producer thing, but maybe not. I guess.
Now, Adrian, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but I know that there is a video for TV Party that Black Flag did. Very low budget. But I was wondering if you had any idea which version was used in that video. I mean, if you don't, that's fine.
I've never seen the video.
Oh.
I've never seen any video by Black Flag.
Really? Well, hold on a second here. Let me just quick see if I can pull one up.
All right, here we go.
There it is.
Oh, this sounds like the original version.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
This is kind of how I imagine the video might be.
Yeah, me too. There's Henry.
Wait a minute.
Quincy.
I think this is a different version than what's on the record I have. They have different shows on it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they overdubbed the show name.
Could be. It is a video.
Yeah, this is a third version of the song.
Okay.
So you hear some aspects of the Repo Man recording, you hear some aspects of
That's right.
They must have done something to the tapes or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, either they did something to the tapes or they did a third version of the song.
These shows are all gone, of course.
Oh, yeah. This song came out 40 years ago. Oh, I can't wait until the TV set gets broken.
Hey, wait a minute. My TV set doesn't work. It's broken. Hey, this isn't fair. What are we going to do tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at how big the TV is.
Yeah. he wasn't going to smash it either because they can't afford another TV at this time.
Right.
You know?
I didn't think they were.
No TV party tonight. Anyway, that's it.
Okay.
Let's see if it says anything about. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have anything to say about it. All right. Well, anyway, so there you go.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a classic tune. Maybe one of the most classic songs on this record. However, it does have competition. The next song on this is Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies. And it just so happens I have the record here that you kindly loaned me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where it went.
Yeah. Oh, were you for that today? Yeah. Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah.
This was their first album. It's actually worth a little bit of money now, I think. I mean, not a huge amount, but it's. You might have to. You might have to
I'm
put
not
out.
sure whether it's their first album or not. It might be, actually, but I heard of another album that is something like how can I laugh when I feel like crying or something like that.
Oh yeah. Well, here, Suicidal.
I think that might have been their first album.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was, but here, let me just double check that right now. Discography. Yep, it's their first one. And here I'll show you. Okay.
So this is.
It is, and not only that, it's a punk record that sold 400,000 copies, which is utterly insane. Never. I don't think even Black Flag's Damaged got anywhere near that.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it got good reviews.
They were very well produced.
Yeah.
As well, the Suicidal Tendencies. There's like production that you don't hear on other punk albums. You just
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. They did have a couple albums after, but the next one didn't come out till '87 or something. So.
Well, I'm thinking about everything. Then again, I was thinking about nothing. And then my mom came in, and I didn't even know she was there. She called my name, and I didn't hear it. And she started screaming, "Mike, Mike!" And I go, "What? What's the matter?" She's like, "What's the matter with you?" I go, "What's the matter, Ron? She goes, "Don't tell me that. You're on drugs."
You're on drugs.
On the lyric sheet, you'll notice they have the choruses to the song, but they don't have the story.
Oh.
Okay, I'm just thinking. She goes, "No, you're not thinking. You're on drugs. No, people don't act that way." I go, "Mom, just give me."
Anyway.
I like the Pepsi part.
Oh, wait, here, hold on.
Yeah, we were just getting to the Pepsi part.
Pepsi, please. All I want was Pepsi. And she wouldn't give it to me. All I wanted was the Pepsi. Just one Pepsi. And she wouldn't give it to me. Just the Pepsi.
Anyway. Anyway. It's a great song. So these are fun songs to just kind of freak out at, and they were good. I mean, that's some top-notch punk music back then, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, between TV Party and that song, you know, can understand why people still like this album. So, so that brings us to Coup d'etat.
The Coup d'etat, in the movie, they show Otto like going to a bunch of his friends, and they're having a mosh party, and they're playing that song.
Coup d'etat, yeah.
Later on in the movie, Otto goes to a nightclub, and they're playing When the Shit Hits the Fan.
Yep. Yep. In the
Otto's
slow.
like, I used to listen to these guys.
That's funny. Oh, you mean when you saw the movie, you thought that? That's fun.
No, Otto said that.
Oh, Otto said, "Oh yeah, I used to." Yes.
Like, I used to listen to these guys.
Yeah. And now they were a lounge act, you know, doing it real.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yes, so Coup d'etat is a Circle Jerks song. Now, there's something very interesting about the Circle Jerks. Well, first, let's just quick do a little tiny, just a little bit of this. I'm going to share my screen again. So here's the thing.
New comes in.
So,
Push from the left and a shove from the right.
so Circle Jerks, one of the guys in it was Xander Schloss. That's this guy.
Oh, okay.
He also played Kevin the Nerd in the movie. Otto's hapless sidekick in the early part of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
The guy singing, feeling 7-Up, I'm feeling 7-Up, you know,
Yeah.
saying he was going to be a fry cook and all that.
Yeah.
And then later in the movie, Otto like lifts a sheet in the hospital and he's there. He's like shot up or whatever. He's like, Otto, and Otto's just like keeps going. See you later. But yeah, so he was both an actor and a musician, and not just in that one track. We'll get to the other tracks later on the soundtrack, but he was responsible. He played a role in a few different tracks. So anyway, I thought that would be interesting. So the Circle Jerks, yeah, they did, you know, they did some pretty good work. Xander Schloss didn't show up on the records until Wonderful. And of course, he's the guy over here on the far right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I never knew that until a few days ago. I think that's pretty
I
cool.
didn't know that until now.
Yeah.
I never saw a Circle Jerks album.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So that's just another interesting story. So the next thing that's up on here is a band that gets the most tracks on the album, and a band that a lot of people haven't heard of, and they're called The Plugs. They're a Latino punk band, and they too were a real band. I think they're around from 82 to 87, but by the time this record came out, these were the last recordings that they released. And so this one's called El Clavo y la Cruz. I'm not quite sure what that
I
means.
have no idea what that song's about,
Hold on.
unfortunately.
El Clavo y la Cruz. The Nail and the Cross.
Nail in the Cross.
The Nail and the Cross. That's what it's called. Yeah. So that one's funny. Otto has just come to an old lady's house to pick up the car, but he went in to talk to her about it first, I guess. And I'm not sure. The movie leaves it a little open to interpretation how that all went down. And so, you know, they're sitting there talking. She's giving him tea or something, and he's telling her he's not going to take the car, you know, but you know, you got to get it together. And then a car comes in, parks behind him, comes in, and it's like 9 really big guys, you know, walk in and surround him on the couch. And it's clear that they're like all her sons or something. Like she's the mom of whatever is going on. Maybe they're not real sons. Maybe it's just a gang or something. But anyway, she's like, "This is Mr. Otto. He says he's not going. He's from the finance company. He's not going to take our car today." It's like, and then so he nervously gets up and he's like trying to close his briefcase and it won't close. And he's like, "Well, got to get going here. Close the suitcase. I got to get out of here." And so he leaves. And but he goes out and he tries to take the car. You know, the sad thing is
To take the car, and the car was raised.
yeah, they were there. It was on jacks or something, on a jack or something. So he goes to speed away. It goes nowhere. Everybody hears him and comes flying out of the house and beats him to a pulp. So anyway, so. But anyway, that was yeah, that's what that music was for. It was a pretty good little track, actually. It moves, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next track that this brings us to side 2 is by a band that's called Burning Sensations, and this is a band fronted by a guy that used to be the lead guitarist for the Motels. I don't know if you remember the Motels. They had a hit, "Only the Lonely Can Play," back in the 80s, but. By then they had become a slick band. He left just before that. Warning, swear words ahead. So he left, and he's the lead singer on Pablo Picasso Was Never Called an Asshole, which was written by Boston's own Jonathan Richman. Oh. So yeah, so for a let me just get a little bit of that going here. Yeah.
Yeah, they play that. He's like driving down the street. He's trying to pick somebody up. And,
Yeah, he's trying to pick up that chick,
trash cans.
the girl, yeah,
Yeah.
from the UFO Council.
Yes. Exactly.
Asshole.
Now notice also on this track, those are electronic drums.
Pretty good for 1984.
Yeah.
Girls that turn the color
of an
avocado when you drive down the street in his Eldorado. Why he was only 5'3", girls could not resist his stare. Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole.
Anyway,
Right.
so a nice little piece of
Yeah.
trivia there.
Yeah. Like the riff there. And,
Yeah.
just I remember they were playing that song when he was when he drove into the trash cans and
Yeah. And the lady came out, you pick it up. Like, look at the mess you've made, pick it up. And, of course, Otto ignores her and drives away. Not, Mr. Punk. Well, the next track is the Fear track called Let's Have a War. And that one is, topical. It goes...
I really liked the song when I first heard the soundtrack.
Yeah. No, it's a good track. I mean,
Yeah, it's got the
jack up the Dow Jones. Yeah.
yeah. Guy screams too.
Yeah. I only wish at the time I'd been a little bit more politically and socially aware, because there are a lot of references in this movie that just went over my head at the time. When this came out, I was 18 and was not terribly politically oriented, unfortunately, but that's the way that goes. So yeah, they did okay under the wing of John Belushi up until he passed. And then, they still got this placement. I'm not sure if they did much after this record or not, but let's take a look here and see what else we have. Oh yeah, I guess they did. Look at that. But I just didn't know if they'd put anything out. And yeah, Flea was in this band at one point.
I remember I just saw the name Scott Tunis mentioned.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's a bass player who played with Frank Zappa.
Mm.
Yeah, here we go. Scott Tunis.
Yeah. Wayne Kramer, Steve Vai. Yeah. Pretty good. Oh, the Waterboys. Huh, that's interesting. Well, yeah, and Flea was in there too.
He was pretty darn good. I've seen him on a couple of videos and a couple of Zappa videos.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly when these guys were in the band, but the only guy left that's original is Lee Ving, who was the singer at the time, and he still is. So good for them. They're still going, and I'm sure the movie didn't hurt them. So then that brings us to the other Circle Jerks song, which is the second song that has a drum machine. So you go up there and it's this one. So they're in a lounge.
In a sluggish economy, inflation, recession hits the land of the free.
Red tuxes,
Standing on
something.
employment lines, blame the government for hard times. We just get by, however we can.
Mm-hmm.
We all got a duck when the shit hits the fan.
So
10 kids.
So worth remembering with this one is that they actually had a rocking version that was on a different record at the time. There was another version that was actually full on punk. And so this was clearly supposed to be some type of anti-punk or some, after punk when you had to make a living. I think that's where Otto's line came in, I've seen these guys.
Yeah,
I used to listen to these guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah. So classic. I think it's actually more classic in the slow version. And you got to love those little 1980s boom beatboxes, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a total of 3 songs on side 2 are drum machines, which I found very interesting. Before we get to the next one, though, we get to the next Plugs song, the next Latino punk band song, and they're covering Johnny Rivers here.
Asian man.
You know, Secret Agent Man.
Yep.
So you get the idea.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Pretty well done.
Good early 60s vibe to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually kind of like their music. I'm going to have to go take a look. They made 2 albums, it would appear, and these are them. Yeah, and they have El Clavo y la Cruz on this one. Let's see, what else? I guess that's it. I'm trying to think. What's the other song? Oh, Real 10 was the... yeah, that was probably done just for the movie.
That was at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorites on the whole album in some ways. But so we had them, and then we had the next fake band, and this is another. This one's called the Juicy Bananas. All right, It's going to have another drum machine. It's actually a band that involves the guy in the Circle Jerks, Xander Schloss. He's part of this.
Raised in the city streets, my mama gave me the basic facts of life.
Yep. He's playing guitar on it. And he helped write it. And I think the singer, or the talker, it's not really a singer, is this guy.
Yeah.
I never ride with anyone unless they wear a seatbelt.
It's one of my rules.
That's one of my rules.
Yeah, I thought this was a good song.
Yeah, not bad.
Still do.
Anyway, that's and it goes on for a little bit, you know, but it's cool. But that's the only thing the Juicy Bananas ever did, just for the record.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought I like the track, but you know, and it was definitely right for the movie. Let me bring that back up here. So now that brings us, I keep going to another video, and now it brings us to the last track, the Plugs again. I don't know if they're using a Mellotron or maybe an early digital synthesizer, but you'll hear like choir and things like that as the car starts to ascend off the ground into space at the end.
Well, it flies all over the city first.
Well, that's when it does. Right when the drums come in is when they start flying across the city. Because it goes like this. It goes up, 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 and then boom.
Around the buildings and stuff.
Yeah. Definitely a great track. I like this one.
Yeah.
So probably another special track just for the movie. But so this record is just jam-packed with great material and unique material. You know, again, there's 2 acts on here that where this is the only place you'll find them, and other things are just unreleased for the most part. I don't think Iggy released Repo Man in any other format. Maybe it was a single. I don't know. I don't think it ended up on one of his records. And yeah, it's different Chibi Party. The Institutionalized is the same as is on their record. You know, a couple of them are the same, but for the most part, yeah, I mean, a lot of these were made for the movie or just became unique to the movie and nothing else. So yeah, I highly recommend the soundtrack. it's a nice piece of 80s nostalgia, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good punk representation, even though a lot of the tracks are more produced than usual for punk. It's just kind of a nice little time capsule, for about 84. Kind of, it doesn't have any of the super raw stuff that, represented the early punk from like, late 70s, very early 80s, but it still kind of brings you back to about 1984. And so does the movie. Now, the movie has dated a little bit, but it is still a very entertaining watch. Adrian, did you get a chance to see this movie in recent times? I know you were trying.
Yeah, I saw it last night, actually.
Oh, good.
I saw it again last night. I've seen it many times before.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I saw it recently, but I couldn't find the DVD in time for this show to see it again. But I did watch it just a few months ago. So, and I mean, you can tell it's a different time,
Oh, yeah.
But it's still it's very worthwhile. It's worth seeing. And yeah, like you, I've seen it. I don't even know, at least a dozen times all the way through. But this was always one of my favorites. So I'm glad we got a chance to do this show and have it center around that soundtrack. So I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, Adrian, on any of this.
What Glenn said a few minutes ago.
Excellent.
It's just really it's we got some good tunes on it. Yes. I think I saw the movie first in 84, and then I think you got a copy of the soundtrack in early 85. I know I was listening. It was all I listened to for a few months.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's well sequenced. It's a good record. So if anybody else out there has any thoughts on Repo Man, if you've seen it, or if you know the soundtrack, or if you don't know the soundtrack and you went out and or you want to go out and listen to it and come back here, we'd love to hear your comments and also any suggestions you have for future shows. And in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind giving us a like and maybe giving us a subscribe, that would be highly appreciated. But in the meantime, we're going to come up with some more ideas for shows, and you'll see us again soon. So till next time, bye from Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. Take care, folks.